All right, boys. Welcome to another episode of the Afro Rooted. My name's Agaazi. I'm joined with Kenea and you. Boys, how are we doing today?
Welcome back, guys. I know it's been a minute since we've done an episode, man. Happy to be here and happy to do another episode, man.
Yes, hello, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right. It's been a few minutes. It's been a few hours since we last did our last episode. And we're definitely going to cover the topics we missed from World Cup group draws up all the way to the CAF Champions League and even to the AFCON 2023 qualifiers. We'll be covering it all. But today we're going to start off with the World Cup draw. And we're looking at all the African teams from Group A all the way up to Group H. We're going to start off with, obviously the first group with Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands. So off the face of this, and kind of seeing the recent performance of Senegal and how the top performers from Mendy and Mane do, you could even make an argument that Senegal could actually win this group. Not with ease, but they could do really, really well. What do you think, Kenea?
I think you're right, Agaazi, man. I feel like when I look at the groups, my two favorite teams are Senegal and Netherlands to go through, And I do think Senegal has what it takes to actually win the group. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I don't think it's going to be easy because, obviously Netherlands is, the favorites of the group, I would say, for a lot of people. And, you have defensively, they're really good with Virgil van Dijk, De Ligt, and it's not an easy team they're going to be against, but neither is Senegal, man. Senegal is also has a deep squad, and it's the best African team. They're in form, and even their road to World Cup right now, I think it's been much tougher. The African qualifiers are very tough to. It's very tough to qualify as an African team from 54 nations. They only have 5 spots, so. Yeah, anything is possible, and I do think Senegal is gonna, top the group, or if not, I feel like they got at least the second spot.
EU. So, for example, so let's go on most recent history. The host nation from teams like Germany, South Africa, Brazil, and Russia, like the host nations usually do well, except for South Africa. They didn't make it out of the group most recently. For me, a big threat to both Senegal and the Netherlands are Qatar. Recent winners of the Arab Cup and the Asian Cup. I know they also went pretty far in the Arab Cup. Do you think Qatar could actually threaten a top 2 position?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched too much of Qatar's football national team play, but just based on the history.
The host nation,
it's typical to see the host nation, with the crowd behind them, 13th man, try to make some impact. But for me, it's going to be a clear Senegal, Netherlands going through this round and top 2. And then maybe if anyone does go through, at least for me, just based on paper, Ecuador is a good team as well. Have a few good players in there as well. So I would say Ecuador rather than Qatar, but who knows? You never know when it comes to football. How much the crowd can make an impact, like how with Everton, and it's possible to see it with Qatar as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Is there any Afro, from this group, like from Senegal? Is there any players you guys are looking forward to watch in the World Cup?
Afro-rooted?
Yeah, from this group, from Senegal.
I couldn't necessarily tell you I'm sure there are a few in the Netherlands team, but I couldn't tell you what their hosts were, like where their parents were from or whatever. So, but yeah, a few of the lads on the Netherlands team are definitely players to look out for. In terms of non-Africans, there's a guy, Brighton, I think, that plays for Ecuador. He's a pretty good midfielder, so he's a good one to watch for sure. But of course, Senegal is probably going to be the team that I root for the World Cup.
Yeah. Qatar also have. I think Qatar has this kid named Al-Moiz, I think, right? Like, I remember watching the Asian Cup that you were talking about, Agaazi. I think like he was the top scorer. So I feel like that guy is somebody to watch out for all the teams, at least. You know, I think he does play his football in Qatar as well. And but yeah, you know, we got the likes of Sadio Mane as well.
And, you know, I was gonna say, like, I feel like it'd be really, really disappointing if Senegal don't make it out. Like, even I think they even have to make it out as first, because the Netherlands, for example, they're not, obviously, yes, they have a great team with Memphis, Van Dijk, Wijnaldum and De Jong and all these guys, but it's not the same one that, like, from 2010 World Cup or 2014 Van Persie, Sneijder. Like, I feel like this is a different type of team, and after seeing them lose the Czech Republic, kind of so weirdly in the past Euros, I was like, because they had a decent group stage and then they just kind of lost kind of very easily, like 2-0, 2-1 to Czech. I was like, these guys aren't really, but you can beat them. And then
do you think it's something they could fix easily though, like in terms of tactics and stuff? Because like you said, like, I feel like they do have the players on paper, but maybe they haven't meshed well yet. You know what I mean? But even like, I mean, recently, like at the time of this recording, like yesterday, they played against Belgium. They did, you know, in the European Nations League. And then obviously, since Belgium is one of the best like European teams right now, was considered an upset. They won 4-1. I mean, that's a significant win over such a great team. You know what I mean? So maybe there's some, I mean, I feel like it's too early to say right now. It's just one game, but maybe there's something there that's brewing up in the Netherlands side, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, I would say you can definitely match up Senegal to Netherlands on paper. I think they also have a really good coach as well to Senegal. So there's no reason that they shouldn't finish on top of them. Like, if you just match the teams up, I think that even Senegal, for me, Senegal would come on top, just on paper, straight up. You match the players like for like, even at the back. Goalkeeper is better for Senegal. The defensive line, I think, is probably better. And then offensively, of course, they have some good striking options. So, I think Senegal should make it too.
Yeah, and they're also like, I mean, lastly, like, those are really a big tournament team. So I still remember these guys from the 2018 World Cup playing in the 2019 AFCON as well, and obviously this past one as well. Like, these guys have been together, and they seem very, very tight and very close.
Yeah.
And even after going through the World Cup qualifier against Egypt, it just seems like these guys have been through some hardships and hard matches, that they're really tight. I personally, I think maybe they can steal it against Netherlands, but maybe against teams like Ecuador, who could be like, I don't know, kind of like a very difficult. I think they can beat them, but it'll be difficult. Actually, there's no game in this group which would be easy. Like, it's kind of like they should win it, but it's
true. Like it's like you said, Agaazi. I feel like we give Senegal, like, you know, obviously, so with what they've been through and what we see on paper, like that, we're giving them such a, you know, holding them to such a high standard, and that's what we expect from them. But there's not going to be an easy game in this group at all, because Qatar is the hosts, you know, Netherlands is Netherlands, but Ecuador is, you know what I mean, like they come from the South American qualifiers, and we all know that, like, the South American qualifiers is like one of the hardest, if not the hardest qualifier that there is, you know what I mean? Because they had to go through, you know, teams like Peru, Chile, you know, Brazil, Argentina, like
Colombia.
These Ecuador is used to playing at a very high level, you know? So it's definitely not an easy, it's not going to be an easy group, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of excitement in this group, and there's a lot of room for surprises, I would say, as well.
Yeah. Before we move on, any other final words about this group or anything that we might have missed? Okay, no, that's great. All bases covered. All right, our next group, Afro Group D, France, and then there's a playoff one team, Denmark and Tunisia. Not gonna lie, I think it's a tough group for Tunisia. I don't think they have it. This is, with all due respect, this is a tough group. And then I just watched Denmark beat France last night. I was like, good luck as well to them.
Yeah, this group. Who wait. So the fourth team is gonna be between who? Like, what's the?
I believe it might be between
qualifiers?
Costa Rica and New Zealand.
Oh, so yeah, that's the thing. Like, especially if I feel like if it's Costa Rica, this group is also gonna be entertaining.
Yeah,
but my two favorites to pass this groups are France and Denmark, just purely off of like what they've done in the Euros. You know, obviously France is, you know, we can't deny their greatness at this moment. They're a really stacked team, you know, World Cup defending champs. And yeah, we saw the game like yesterday as well between Denmark and France. So yeah, it's going to be really tough for Tunisia, I would say, man, because I mean, from all the African sides, I don't think this is Tunisia is one of the, like, you know, they don't really convince me, if that makes sense. But again, this is football and anything can happen. And we saw France, like, you know, I think not once but twice they've lost. What you call it? You know, after a World Cup win, the next World Cup they play, they have a history of you know, fumbling.
Yeah.
You know, they won '98 World Cup, 2002 group stages they were out. You know, they lost against Senegal first game, and it was a disaster. You know, 2006 they didn't win the World Cup, but they went to the finals.
Yeah.
And then 2010 out of the group stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, is history gonna repeat itself? You never know. But I mean, I highly doubt it now, because I feel like by now they would learn from their mistakes, and they just have such a stacked team. But if they're overconfident about it, then you know, there's something that they might watch out for. They might need to watch out for, you know, because, you know, nobody's here to play around. It's the World Cup. Everybody's playing for their country and their pride. So I think for France, it just has to be about, like, you know, not underestimating any other team. I think that's what France's loss, if it was to come, I think would come from underestimating teams.
So EU, for example, Denmark, I mean, so the international playoff, I think it could be one of New Zealand, Peru, or Costa Rica, one of those three teams, I believe. And when you look at that, do you think that's the only game that Tunisia could steal points, or do you think maybe they can get some points off of France and Denmark as well?
I mean, you never know. I think if they try to play a tight game, low block, try to keep everything tight, and then try to steal like a last minute goal or equalizer. If they manage to keep the game tight against even the likes of Denmark, I think there's the potential to make it through the group, and then they can pretty much replicate their run in the AFCON by, you know, they finished third in their group. They had 3 points. It was just one win that they had. So if they find a way to make it through the group just by playing a tight game and hoping for the best, then possible that to make it through. I wouldn't put it past them to steal a game, but I think it's really unlikely. I think it's going to be a tough one.
Are you guys fans of teams like, they obviously don't have as many player resources or, you know, the sort of stature of like a Germany or Brazil, but these are teams which are very, very well organized, very defensively strong, and then they'll hit you on counter, or they'll like be able to nick a goal just like that. Are you guys fans of those teams that play? And would you guys want your national team or your favorite team to play that way in a World Cup? In a World Cup, not the Premier League, in a World Cup. So
you're asking us for football purists?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, go ahead, kind of actually.
Yeah, you go ahead, man.
I mean, like I would rather see football, but at the same time, for Ethiopia.
Okay, yeah.
I think we just don't have the players to compete. So I'd rather Ethiopia play in the World Cup or make it through the group stage in the World Cup than not make it at all. Like, I think that's a no-brainer for me. I'd rather watch them play, keep it tight, and then just get Sean Dyche in and have him manage the national team and see what happens, you know? But like at the same time, if I was the coach, I feel like my like it would be non-compromising that we're going to play football. And then you can see that the right coach, if you're a good enough coach, you can bring it out with average players. So yeah, I think it deserves its place in football, though. I wouldn't say that it's an abomination or whatever. Like, I think it's part of the game, and I think it's important part of it.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, it's really not like, if you ask me, like, personally, that's not my style of football that I enjoy watching or playing. But if sometimes it's like against the results, and especially in the World Cup, like that's what it's for. Like, but for example, like you mentioned, like like my team, like if I want to see Ethiopia play, like, first of all, I feel like Ethiopia does not ever play like that. Like it's not in our like DNA, like to kind of play like that. You know, like if you ask a lot of Ethiopians, like they rather try and play a game and lose than like win like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They wouldn't do well with Sean Dyche.
Yeah,
it's true.
And we're not a really good defensively anyway. So, we don't have any other option but to play attacking football. But yeah, that style of play, like, like it works for some teams, and like it does make it interesting too. Like some teams like that, like for example, when they play teams like big teams like France and stuff like that, that's the way they could cause an upset, is by frustrating the other team and then just boom, nicking that goal at the right moment, and then just holding it down defensively. There is some beauty to it, especially when it's an underdog team. You know what I mean? But like when it's a great team, like that's not what I want to see, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I do watch a lot. I love watching like two teams that enjoy playing football go at it and see a bunch of goals. That's my style. That's what entertains me as a fan, and that's the type of football I like watching. Is fast paced, a lot of passes. Yeah, man.
Well, moving from that group, from Group D, we're going on to our next one, Afro group. Group F, Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. So this is definitely one of the more equally balanced and more entertaining groups all around. I think, I don't know, we could start from the top, from Belgium or from Croatia or from Morocco themselves.
This could go anyway, man. Like, this is a really, you know what I mean? I know, like, Belgium is probably like a lot of people's favorite team, favorites to go through, but it could go anyway, man. Like, because even Canada's been decent. Like,
they've been killing it.
Well, this is like their first World Cup in how long?
I think it's like 30.
Is it their first ever, or like 30 some years?
Like 30 years, yeah. It's also been a minute for those guys. So
yeah. So I would say like maybe they might not. I don't know, man, because you don't know. They might be like one of the teams one of the dark horses of the tournament. But Morocco, man, is one of the best African teams, especially in the qualifiers. Like, I know they didn't go that far in the AFCON, but like they've had like perfect scores. Just even in the qualifiers, like they were one of the. I think they were the only team that had all points. You know what I mean? They had like 18 points to qualify for the, the home and away, the last round of the, World Cup qualifiers. And they have great players like, Hakimi. And yeah, I think we were recently, I was looking into some of their African Champions Leagues. And even, their national, like their club teams also do well. You know what I mean? Like the players in the national league are also great players. So they have a lot of talent, a great pool of talent to get their players from. So I think Morocco is definitely going to be, is personally one of my favorite African teams to go through. But again, they face, teams like Croatia and Belgium. So I don't know, man. I'm really split on this.
If anything, this group is definitely one of the most, like, I think people are definitely going to want to watch this and see who makes it out. And yeah, obviously besides Belgium and Croatia, Canada themselves, they've had an amazing qualifying, just like Morocco, and they beat the U.S., they beat Mexico for top spot, and that's usually been a top spot that's been reserved for the U.S. or Mexico. So Canada have really shown and kind of come to the party. Morocco, I think Morocco could challenge as well. I think maybe they might have to play that sort of football where it's kind of like, defensive and then on the break as well. But, again, Croatia, they lost recently to, I think, what they lose to Austria, or was it Czech Republic? I'm sorry. We'll get a researcher checking on that real quick. But I even Belgium, like the one thing about these two teams, I'll just say real quick is they're both aging. Like, yes, they have very good experience together, but they're not the sharpest as they used to be. With a Belgian defense that's kind of getting old, and I know Luka Modric but like Luka Modric, Perisic, these guys are already old, and they're not what they used to be, like 2018.
Yeah. So like 4 years have passed, and like I think most of them were at their prime in the 2018 World Cup. And the same with Belgium too. Like they were at, I feel like, one of the peaks of their, the players were at the peak of their careers. But I don't know about Croatia, but I feel like Belgium has more, like they can replace their players a bit more. Like they have like players coming up.
Yeah.
But most of the players that that we know and like we know of, I feel like are a little bit past their prime, or some of them are in their prime. So they do, like, both teams are kind of a little bit on the older side. Whereas Morocco has like a combination, I feel like, of players, like young players like the Hakimis, the Hakim Ziyech.
Like Boufal, Roman Saiz. Saiz is actually like a sick player, by the way.
Saiz, Roman Saiz is very amazing, man.
And Munir as well, Barcelona.
Yep.
So, if you had to make your predictions real quick, like, let's say, who would you guys say your top two out of this group? Actually, top 1 to 4.
I think Belgium makes it out for sure. And then it's just a coin toss for the other three. I was gonna say it would be a tough group for Morocco, but Canada, I haven't watched much of their football, so I don't know how strong they're gonna be, but they have a few quality players in there. Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, two names that come to mind. Alphonso Davies, by the way, Liberian parents, born in Ghana.
Afro rooted player, man.
You already know. And then Croatia as well. Like, I feel like I usually don't know a good few of the Croatian players, but they turn out to be like really quality players. So I'm not sure what to expect from them either. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think there's a good chance for Morocco to make it out. For me, top two are Belgium, Morocco.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna have to go for the same one, man. Like Belgium won first, and then Morocco second. But it could. But I'll say that. But I think it could go either ways, and definitely, we can't write off Croatia at all. And I feel like Canada might have what it takes to become the dark horses of this tournament, because this is not the Canada that we've known before. Like I know, like, most of us might not know a lot about Canada because they haven't, you know what I mean. But in recent years, like, they've really, it's like players like Alphonso Davies and others like have been able to put them on the map. But I'm gonna go with Belgium first, and Morocco qualifies as number 2.
Not gonna lie, I was gonna say Belgium and then Canada and then Morocco and then Croatia bottom.
Croatia bottom? That's mad. That's a hot take.
If anything, I'll say Canada and Morocco will edge each other out. I think Croatia's just gonna crash. It's gonna be one of those crazy World Cup stories. Like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe it.
I feel like there's always one story like that, though, in every World Cup. Like,
Wasn't there something about World Cup winners not making it past the group after, like, in the next World Cup? I think that's happened like 4 or 5 times in a row.
I think you're right. It happened the last one with Germany.
Yeah.
The one before was Spain. The year before,
I think-
Italy.
And then
The only one this doesn't happen to is the Brazilians. They
Brazil,
always make it
yeah.
at least around the 16 or quarters, man.
Yeah.
No.
Any chance do you guys think Brazil wins it this time? Quickly.
Yes.
I mean,
think-
they have
no,
a chance.
I think they have a
but,
good chance.
Yeah, they have a good chance. I'm not gonna say they're my favorites. Like, no, I actually want them to win. Other than like the African teams, they're my favorite to kind of watch, especially when they're on their A game. Because Brazil is either 0 or 100. I feel like you don't get any in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually funny you say that because the next Afro Group G, is actually Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. The team that came back from the dead. But before we go into that group, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back right after that.
All right.
All right. And welcome back. So let's cover our second game so far. So Nigeria versus Ghana. First game take place in the capital, Accra, Ghana. Boys, this is a tight game. This is, and again, just like the last one, it's a bit sad that we're going to see one of these teams are going to have to go home, unfortunately. Both teams had great qualification periods, both winning four wins, 1 draw, and a loss each in their respective group stage qualification. But also both teams had not even somewhat, disappointing AFCON campaigns. I think probably you can say Nigeria, particularly because of how they won all their group matches, even beating Egypt, who were the eventual finalists, but they crashed out in the first knockout game of AFCON. How do you guys feel about this matchup? And I know you're probably what do you think of both teams as prospects?
It's definitely going to be a tough game. They're both African giants. But I think recently, though, Ghana has not been at their best. So I don't know what changes they're doing behind the scenes. I know they were looking for a new coach, but it's going to depend a lot on what they do to prepare for this game. And I think they really had 2 months, very short amount of time to prepare for this, coming from the AFCON campaign that they just had, which they got knocked out on the group stages. I just don't know how fast they could recover from that. And given that, in national teams, you only have a few days to work with your players and stuff. So I don't know how fast the new coach is going to be able to overturn that. Whereas Nigeria, I feel like their interim manager was pretty good. And, they displayed really good football in the AFCON. But unfortunately, they lost in the round of 16s. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting, man. But I feel like Nigeria will have the upper hand here. And they also have Victor Osimhen now that's in form and coming back. That's an extra. They missed him due to injury in the AFCON. So that's an extra player that they will have with them. And I'm not sure if they're going to have Emmanuel Dennis or not. But if they do, also that's going to be a plus. So I don't know. I personally think that Nigeria's got this in the bag, but you never know in football. Ghana, you can never underestimate Ghana as well.
And you're someone who's very familiar with the Nigerian stars, particularly Iheanacho. He's had a somewhat up and down season so far with Leicester. Do you think he's the one who could help lead the line alongside Osimhen?
You'd imagine that Osimhen is the top guy to lead the scoring. He led them through the group stages with 4 goals versus Iheanacho's 2 goals. I think Osimhen is one of those elite strikers that is probably going to be on the market this summer as well. So should look out for that. But I think Nigeria definitely has more to be positive about following AFCON versus Ghana, who was kicked out in the group stages. But yeah, I think I would imagine that Osimhen is the guy to look out for, along with JJ Iwobi, who had a great game last night.
The game he's referring to was Everton versus Newcastle, and Iwobi did a great 1-2 with Calvert-Lewin and scored in the last minute. He's also had an interesting season, but he's also been an important part, let alone of Everton, but also Nigeria. One thing I've noted in my notes is that overconfidence is a bit high. It does seem to happen within the Nigeria squad. I mean, particularly in Africa, and particularly in African competitions and qualifiers, they always do get to the World Cup most times. I mean, I think I can count how many times I've seen them play against Argentina in the World Cups. But do you think that's true, or is it just like is that just maybe just a stereotype of this team?
I mean, it could be a stereotype, but it's kind of true. For me, like I find it to be a little true because they do. But I will say one thing though. I feel like against big sides, they don't, and I feel like they are made for big games. So I don't think they're gonna take Ghana lightly. So that might not be like an issue here, usually like they have issues with like not very small, the smaller teams, like even if we go to the qualifiers, they lost against Central Africa Republic and they drew against Cape Verde. Central Africa Republic was nowhere near qualifying, but yet they beat Ghana. They beat Nigeria. So this kind of shows you like their mentality, in a way.
Ghana, for example, there's someone who, if there's going to be a team that really needs to show what they've got, it's probably the Ghana, especially after a poor African Cup of Nations, and even like their qualification period during the World Cup. It wasn't that convincing. It was definitely, they were very close and tight on points to South Africa. So much so that they were even going back and forth with the South African FA, I believe. Do you think they have a little bit more in terms of, this team has to, especially I'm more worried about like how do people back in Ghana perceive their national team, because they haven't been as convincing these last 2 years with their performances. Because if we look against Ethiopia, they had a 1-0 win. They drew away with Ethiopia, but also lost at South Africa away. So I don't want to say not convincing, but I don't know. It was tough. It was a tough group.
It was a tough group because look at literally, if you see the points, they have 13 points, same as South Africa. They both have 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And basically it came to even their goal difference was 4-4. I believe it was a very tight group that they were in, and it could have been either team that was going to go through. Very competitive, but I can only imagine that this is frustrating for fans like Ghanaian fans, because they're used to seeing, these are the same fans that are used to seeing Ghana play in the World Cup quarterfinals, in the South Africa. We all know what happened, the unfortunate situation with Luis Suarez's handball, but I can only imagine that this is frustrating.
No, surely. I remember, I think to really quickly take it back about 12 years ago, 2010, Ghana in the World Cup. What memories do you have? What memories do you have for some listeners who might be too young to remember that period of Ghana in South Africa?
I don't want to talk about it.
That says it all.
Honestly, I think that completely changed my opinion of Suarez as a player. Like ever since then, I can't see him the same. I literally see him at the same time, probably anyone would do that for the country, but just heartbreaking seeing what happened.
Actually, funny story with that situation.
But
go ahead. I was actually, that World Cup, I was actually in South Africa, and Suarez literally robbed me of an experience because the next game was being played. The semifinals was being played in Cape Town, where I was at, and I was looking forward to see like a Ghana in the semifinals. You know, like it would have been a historical moment for for all Africans at that point. And I just remember watching it on the TV, just hoping, like, oh, who am I gonna go see next? You know what I mean? And I feel like he robbed a lot of Africans of that experience.
Ghana in that World Cup had an amazing run. They had a great 2-2 draw, I believe, with Germany, and also extra time winner against the United States in the knockout rounds. And I think everyone, I think the whole not even like the whole continent, but majority of fans were supporting besides like African fans, but a lot of people really wanted to see Ghana make it to the semifinals. Luis Suarez, I think if you don't understand the moment we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment where it's the end of the 90th minute, I believe, or was it the 120th minute? I'm not sure. There's a goal line clearance, but Luis Suarez hits it back with his hands. He gets red carded, and then as he walks away, Luis Suarez just waits to watch the penalty. Asamoah Gyan stands up, takes the penalty, and hits the crossbar. Everyone is deflated. Eventually, Ghana goes off to lose in a penalty shootout to Uruguay, and Luis Suarez became a national hero off of that.
But that was a celebration, man. You remember how he celebrated, like going out.
It was like,
I still have that in my head. You know what I mean? Like that keeps playing over and over again in my head. Like every time I hear about that game, it's like it's not even him touching the hand. Like it's his celebration is what goes is like it's like on a loop in my head.
Yeah. Even I feel a little bit like PTSD. Just thinking about that match. So, but yeah, before we move on, is there anything else you wanted to add about this great encounter? No?
I'm all set.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, March 25th, the first leg is in Ghana versus Nigeria, and then second leg on the 29th, Nigeria versus Ghana. And let's move on to our next game, also on the 25th. Another big clash as well. They just keep coming. Cameroon versus Algeria. Cameroon, who just finished third at this year's AFCON, and Algeria, who I believe they've also had a up and down. They had a good Arab Cup, and I think also they won the Arab Cup. I'm sorry, but they were knocked out in the group stages of AFCON this year. They were also the 2019 champions of AFCON. Riyad Mahrez is their talisman. Boys, what do you guys think about this? Again, Toko Kambi or Abubakar versus Mahrez and Silamani. Let's start with you.
I mean, Algeria has been scoring for fun in the World Cup, like the group stages. They have 25 goals for, and then 4 goals against. Especially that 8-0 beating of battering of Djibouti at home. So you'd imagine that Algeria takes this home. I think that personally, I think that Cameroon was really helped by like the fans acting as the 12th man in the AFCON. I think Algeria is a strong team, so you would imagine that they have the capacity to control the game and move them on, especially following the disappointment of AFCON. I'm sure they're going to be fired up and ready to go. Few games.
Definitely, man.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, Riyad Mahrez, he's had a great season for Manchester City. He's their top goal scorer, I believe, in all competitions. You think he'd be able to get Cameroon over the line?
When it comes to Cameroon, Algeria, I feel like it's going to be a tough game. Cameroon had a pretty good AFCON as well. But I will say that like I have more faith in Algeria like bouncing back than Ghana. They both got knocked out the group stages, but I feel like overall I have more faith in Algeria just because I feel like even in the qualifiers, they were undefeated. I believe they won 4 games and drew twice. And they drew twice against Burkina Faso, which is very understandable. They come from a very tough group. Burkina Faso actually was undefeated as well, but the only reason they didn't qualify was because they had an extra draw against Niger, I believe. So they had 3 wins and 3 draws. So I feel like Algeria is going to be really confident, like you said. Like they have great characters as well, like Riyad Mahrez. Islam Slimani, who plays really good for Algeria. And I believe he was the top scorer with 7 goals. Mahrez had 5 goals. So I feel like Algeria can do the job, but also I don't think I'm going to take Cameroon lightly. And I think this is going to be more or less a balanced game, I would say. Other than like the Egypt-Senegal game, I feel like this is a pretty even matchup.
Cameroon, they've also had a interesting, my most recent memory in their form comes from how they performed at the AFCON and, having great road to the semifinals, but also, just missing out on, 4 penalties. And, they even almost lost that 3rd place match against Burkina Faso. I think they were down 3-0 and they just, that miraculous. But I feel like this match is kind of if there's form, then it's definitely for surely with Cameroon. If we look at some of their top goal scorers, Karl Toko, Ekambi, and Abubakar, those boys, for example, they're both having great seasons, particularly Ekambi with Olympique Lyonnais. I'm going to call this one. I kind of think it's Cameroon. I might be able to nick it. Do you think? I don't know. Am I kind of naive for saying that or making that prediction?
I don't think so personally. I feel like it could go either ways, But again, I don't know. It's gonna be. It's very tough to predict this one for me. What do you think of you?
Yeah, same here. To be honest, I think it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a tight one. I think it's definitely gonna be one of those that I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for sure.
And again, it's another example of maybe this is the sort of game that maybe you wish didn't happen, just because I'd rather see both teams, both Algeria, who's both former AFCON champs who should be both at the World Cup. But again, this will be part of the big memo we sent out to CAF and FIFA about this. But first game will be taking place in Cameroon, and then the second leg will be taking place in Algeria, both on respectively 25 and 20 on 29th of March. The next game we're going to go into, it's going to be Congo versus Morocco. We had a bit of I don't want to say devastating news, but kind of like heartbreaking news when a certain player didn't commit to Congo. And it was something in previous episodes we had predicted. Do you want to take it away with that?
I think you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry, there's too much background noise for me to stay unmuted the whole time. I thought it was a done deal, to be honest. Kind of sad that we're seeing Nkunku has been called up to the French national team and he's committed to them. I'm not sure where the source. I need to check my sources, I guess, but I'm not sure where the source that we had quoted was from. But it looks like Nkunku has decided that he's going to be playing for France, and Congo is left to without another one of their potential superstars. I think they still had a solid group stage, so. And they made it through the group stage without him. So hopefully they can, kick on and keep moving. But it's really tragic because Nkunku has been having a beautiful season. And I think he's really cemented himself as one of the, exciting forwards to look out for the next few years. So it would have been really cool to see him play for Congo. And especially with the timing and everything, I thought that would have been perfect. Just get them through to the World Cup, and then become a legend and just kick on. But and it's making us look bad as well. Like after we had discussed it and everything on the one of our previous episodes, he's out here making us look silly, horrible.
No, the Congolese Federation definitely has a lot to do in terms of like convincing these players, because they have so many like great players in their diaspora. I feel like what it takes is for them to kind of draft up like a certain project. I think I've said this before on our episode, but they just need to really emphasize the fact that they have so many players in the diaspora, and then like bring them together. I think that's what's missing. It's not that they don't have players that are not from there, but it's just a matter of like bringing them together and convincing them that this is a team you want to play for. And I don't think they have done that as a federation, and they have a lot of homework in terms of that. I feel like if it was a team like maybe like a Nigeria or Ghana, maybe they would have an easier time convincing them. Like we've seen a lot of Nigerian players like come in because you want to be on a team like that because they're going to go through and do something in there. But I feel like Congo has all these players, but they just don't have a decent project.
Congo qualification came probably from one of the most competitive groups in this World Cup qualification. They finished off with 11 points, 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. Every team in that group had at least 1 win. And that is an important thing to mention, just because of how difficult and the jeopardy, with 9 goals scored and just 3 goals conceded throughout. So they had a tough time. They were in the group with Tanzania, Benin, and Madagascar. So they've definitely wasn't easy for them. What would you say who is their standout player for someone who isn't too familiar with Congo? Ghana.
Stand-up player, I want to say is their captain. Let me go for his name.
The captain, I believe his name is Mbokani. Yeah.
Mbokani.
Mbokani, 36-year-old.
He's 36 years old. They know a lot of experience, and he's a legend in Congolese football. And I feel like he still was like carrying the team, I would say, for the most part. I believe they have Yannick Bolasie that plays for them too. I don't know if he did much in the World Cup qualifiers, but I think he might be coming in the next round. But I think he plays. What's his name? Mbokani plays in Kuwait right now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not really a top league, but when it comes to national team, like everything changes. We saw Vincent Aboubakar doesn't really play a great team right now, but we've seen him, perform for his national team. So I'm expecting a similar thing from him, from Mbokani. So that's who we could look out for from the Congolese side, in my opinion. And not Christopher Nkunku. Sadly.
Nkunku will. That's okay. We'll still be supporting him and rooting for him to do well. But if you want to talk about dominance, Ghana, can you think of any team that maybe has been as dominant as this Morocco side? 6 wins, 20 goals scored, and maybe in just 1 goal conceded. I don't know. It's probably. I mean, the group consisted of Sudan.
They got the full points.
Yeah. Sudan, Guinea-Bissau, and Guinea. It was 20 goals in World Cup qualifying. It sounds like you're playing in San Marino. No, I'm just kidding. No, but what do you guys think of this Morocco side? I think you're a big fan of Achraf Hakimi. I know he's not the one who scores all the goals, but what's your opinion on Morocco so far?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. I think they're favorites definitely for this tie. Mm-hmm. I think that it's in their hands. If they continue the form that they had during the qualifiers, then I can't see them not make it through. They also had a good run in AFCON. Got knocked out by Egypt, which isn't something that should be too disappointed about, because Egypt is a good team, but I'm sure the expectations were to go even higher than that. So Morocco is looking like a really, really strong team. Looks really well balanced. Superstar Ashraf Hakimi. Right back is my position, so love to watch him play. But yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, like 2-0, 5-0, 3-0, 4-1, 3-0, 3-0. Like, bro, these guys absolutely battered the teams in their group for the World Cup qualifiers group stage. But yeah, I mean, like, I have nothing else to say about them, man. They're a really, really strong team, and I think they're gonna win this competition, to be honest.
Yeah. No, man, I think that was spot on, man. You can't really ask for more from a team, man. They got the full 18 points. Only got scored on once. 20 goals they scored, 19 goal difference. And I believe their top scorer, just to add here, is Ayoub El Khabi, who scored 5 goals in this group in the group stages. And I feel like they're their clear favorites for me, but also we saw the same thing happen to similar thing happened to Nigeria in the AFCON. They were the only team that had the full points, and then one game, boom, it was out. But at least this is not one game; it's home and away, so they'll have room for improvements to make and stuff. So I feel like they pretty much. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the World Cup, because I do think they would represent Africa. There'll be a better representation for Africa, definitely. And I don't want to see a World Cup without Ashraf Hakimi and all the others.
Ashraf Hakimi has been having a great season. Maybe some criticism for maybe his defensive ability at PSG, but he's definitely one of the more popular players at that club who doesn't get booed. Sorry, Neymar and Messi. But one thing that a recent memory, they're also a big favorite team to go for the World Cup. They had a great 2018 World Cup. They obviously didn't get out of the group, but it was a group filled with Spain, Portugal, and Iran. So they did have a tough time. Hopefully this year, if whoever makes it, we definitely wish them all the best. First leg takes place 25th in Congo, and then second leg will take place in Morocco on the 29th. And this brings us to our last game of the 5 World Cup qualifiers, is between Mali and Tunisia. Tunisia had also a decent, very great World Cup, great AFCON, and also reaching the Arab Cup finals, but losing out to Algeria in extra time. Let's start off with Tunisia. 13 points, 4 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Obviously, we know them pretty well. We've seen them in previous World Cups and AFCONs. Very great tournament team, and even one of a young Hannibal who plays for mine and Ghana's team, Manchester United, will hopefully be on that roster for them. Let's start with Ghana. So Tunisia, obviously they're favorites and they've had a proper qualification tournament. But what do you think of their odds against Mali?
To be honest with you, I don't think they're clear favorites when it comes to playing against Mali, because we also saw the AFCON. I don't know, this is my personal opinion, but Tunisia is definitely gonna come back with, like, they want revenge for what happened in the AFCON. We all remember the dramatic incident with the referee who blew the whistle twice before it ended. I
was hoping to go without mentioning that.
We can't go without mentioning that, man. They have a recent history, so they're definitely gonna come in, trying to prove a point, and they're gonna want to leave their mark, and obviously they want to play the World Cup. But Mali is actually the only team that hasn't conceded in the qualifying stages. I believe they scored 11 goals and they conceded 0 goals. Undefeated. They won all their games except one, their second game against Uganda, which they drew 0-0. But I think that's a pretty impressive, other than Morocco, I feel like the second impressive team for me was Mali, just because they hadn't lost any game and conceded 0 goals. So they're going to be tough to beat, And and they also have a lot of, they may not have like these superstars, but they have a lot of like decent players that play in like these great leagues. In Salzburg, we have a few, I believe like we have 4 Malian players in Salzburg, or 3.
Oh yeah.
And, including Kamara, and we also have Amadou Haidara plays for Red Bull Leipzig. You have Yves Bissouma, obviously, that plays in the Premier League, and we have Doucouré, right? That hopefully he doesn't switch alliances last minute too. But I think we have Doucouré who committed for Abdoulaye Doucouré who committed for them too. So I'm expecting to see a great Mali against Tunisia as well, and I feel like this is another kind of sort of an even matchup as well. And
I had a question. So these World Cup, it's African World Cup qualifier matches. They're very cagey. They're very like tense. The fans get on your backs. How important do you think defensive stability will be for Mali? But also, we know Tunisia is a very defensive team as well. Like, how do you think? Do you think this is a game for us to watch if we're expecting goals, or what do you think?
I wouldn't say I know too much about how Tunisia plays, but you would imagine that, defense is important. They say defense wins championships. And I think it's going to be, I can't say for sure how the game is going to play out, to be honest. I think it's definitely one of those where if you're looking for both teams to actually feel like they can qualify, this is going to be one of those games, I think both teams will feel like they have, the potential. They have the form, and it's going to be an interesting watch. I can't say for sure if it's going to be goals, but we don't just watch football for the goals. It's going to be interesting to see the way both managers decide to set up their teams on the players that they pick. As Kenea said, Mali may not have this like huge superstars, but they do have a lot of good team cohesion, and they also have like a lot of like players playing in like mid-level France teams. So personally, I think that Mali makes this group based on their form, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch for sure.
Most definitely.
So yeah, go ahead. Kenea, sorry, didn't mean to.
No, I was going to say.
So yeah, this game. So again, Mali versus Tunisia will be the last game on the 29th taking place. The first game again will be taking place in Mali, and then the second leg taking place on Tunisia. So boys, we've wrapped it up. Let's talk about our predictions or score lines. Let's just give just because the second leg depends on how the first leg goes. What are your predictions for the first leg games? Let's go first with you.
With me? Oh, okay. So for Egypt, Senegal, I'm predicting a 1-1 draw. Ghana, Nigeria. That's in Accra, I guess. I think Nigeria wins this 1-0. Cameroon, Algeria. I think that's going to be another draw, 1-1. Mali versus Tunisia. I think it's going to be a Mali win, 1-0. And Congo versus Morocco. I think it's going to be a Morocco win, 2-0.
Damn. Exactly what I was going to say. No, yeah. No. How about you? Do you feel the same way or different? What are your score predictions?
You still on mute, I think.
I think
he's on mute. Right.
Real quick. I think your mic's still on mute.
This mute is a real problem.
I can tell you're really passionate, man. You got to bring the same energy
bro.
to the answer.
Bro, you guys should have told me sooner. I was saying that I'm not fully aligned with Ghana, but similar. So Egypt, Senegal, I think Egypt is going to be fired up after the finals. So they're going to be looking to win the game. I think Egypt probably takes it 1-0. For Ghana, Nigeria, I think that both teams would be comfortable with a draw. So I think that goes 0-0. Cameroon, Algeria. I think that's a tough one. Probably like a 1-1. I'm not sure about that one though. Mali, Tunisia, I think it goes to Mali 1-0. And then Congo, Morocco, again, same with Ghana. I think Morocco takes it 1-0.
All right, I like that. I kind of align a little bit more with Ghana. I think, but then Egypt, Senegal. When I think about it more and more, I could definitely see. I think I'm going to go for a draw. Going for a draw. Ghana, Nigeria. I could definitely see Nigeria. Maybe just like another draw. Cameroon. I think Cameroon's going to edge it over Algeria. And then Mali versus Tunisia. Possibly Mali 1-0. And then Morocco again 2-0. So yeah, I think one of these 10 teams will be our World Cup winners. Yeah. So you guys don't have to watch the World Cup because we told you one of these guys are going to win it. But again, yeah. First leg's going to take place on the 25th of March and 29th. Check your local listings for see where you're watching it and your broadcasters as well. Yeah, that was great. Boys, anything else you wanted to mention or say real quick before we conclude and say goodbye to our viewers and listeners?
Let us know what you think about the fixtures. Who do you think is going to win?
Definitely, man. Talk to us. Yeah, in the comments, just thank you guys for following us as well. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed doing this episode as well. I feel like this is one of our best ones yet. World Cup is around the corner, only happens once every 4 years. So yeah, let us know what you guys think, man.
Yeah. Every 4 years, this will be one of the most, every 4 years, it's definitely a special tournament's going to happen. And then we know for sure the next format will be different. It won't just be 10. It won't be 10 teams fighting for 5. It'll be maybe 18 fighting for 9 as well. But again, yeah, this concludes this episode. We look forward to the next episode right after. But yeah, hope you guys all have a great week and enjoy the football.